Hello, everybody. Welcome to May 10th, 2010, 5-10-10. There you are, 5-10-10. It's the Parker the Man page at yournews.com. Right there you see it. Mark Wilson with your webcam on this Monday. Another brand new week to enjoy, to revel in. Except if you're a hockey fan, then you got nothing. Because the hockey thing is done. Zilch, nothing going on. After the Wings got beat by the Sharks in 5 games. 2-1 the final in San Jose at the Shark Tank. On Saturday night, Jimmy Howard and company just couldn't get it done. Out in the second round, Mike Babcock, Olympic gold medalist for Canada in Vancouver, out before the conference finals. First time in 3 years that's going to happen. Hockey's finished, and the piece today is kind of a compilation piece. You'll enjoy reading it. It's very long. I took some time on this one. I started thinking about it a while ago on whether or not the era in Red Wing hockey has come to an end. Now, you have to first decide when this era in Red Wing hockey began. So I kind of investigated that. Everybody's got their own opinion. 86 when Jacques Demers came, maybe when Brian Murray got you to 100 points, when Scotty came. For me, I think the era began, I'll just give this away now, you can read everything there, in 1995, the lockout year in which the Wings went to the finals for the first year. I don't think you can have an era. Even though the Wings have made the playoffs basically the last 2 decades, haven't missed one since, 1991, or right around 1990, so 20 years ago. I don't think you can have an era, though, unless you're playing for a championship the first time. I think you have to play for the title. I think you have to be in the mix. You have to be in the forum to play for a championship. Then your era can begin. And after that, we all know the Wings have won 4 Stanley Cups. They played for another one. They lost the one in 95, so actually 2 they played for. And when you consider they went years without getting to the playoffs, Jim Mora, much less get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and that hadn't happened since the 60s. So I tend to think it started in 95. I'll go there, even though I did make a case for the Demers years, for Brian Murray's years, and then into, obviously, the start of the Scotty Bowman years. It still took him a year to get there. After that horrible game, or I should say series too, but that Game 7 against San Jose, his first year as Red Wing coach. That was 93-94. So, make up your own mind. You can email me if you'd like, tvboy@yournewsdetroit.com, with your opinions. And as far as whether or not the era has ended, I'm going to tell you this right now, people. I think a little tweaking here and there. I think bringing this club back. I believe Jimmy Howard will be better. I think Babcock believes that. That's why they went with Howard. Maybe Ozzy won't be back. A couple guys. Nick Lidstrom, though, that's the key. If Nick goes to Sweden, he's now 40 years old, just turned 40. If he goes back to Sweden and leaves this thing and says he's done with the NHL, done with the Wings, and done as the captain, which I don't think he will be, but you never know, he's the linchpin here. He is the X factor. If Nick Lidstrom leaves, and maybe you have a case for the era being over. But we've had so many years where the Wings have been out of the playoffs early. Dave Lewis did it. As we said, Scotty's done it. Mike Babcock did it. First round, second round exit. So it's not new, and I just don't think the era is over. So you can read all about that. It's a long piece, suitable for framing, so you might want to print that sucker out and read it at your leisure. But it's all there for you today. Also, the Tigers lost 4 of 5, the last 4 or 5 games on the road trip. Lost to the Indians yesterday, 7-4 on Sunday. That being yesterday. Now back home, here comes the big series, baby. Yankees, 4 games with the Yankees. Again, you got the Red Sox for 3 and the White Sox for 2. So it's a pretty interesting homestand here. Curtis Granderson was supposed to be the big homecoming for Curtis with the Yanks, but of course he's got the strain growing, so that won't be an issue. Johnny Damon and Austin Jackson have really taken up the spot because if you think about it, even though Jackson replaced Granderson, Jackson being the rookie, hitting about .374, Johnny Damon was almost like a 2-for-1 because he signed. The reason he signed is because the Yankees got Curtis Granderson. So you almost got 2 guys without having to make that part of the trade when you got Johnny D. And he's hitting right around 300 too, and scoring runs and getting on base, and his on-base percentage is always better than Granderson's. So it really has been so far a very good move by Dave Dombrowski. At least it's worked out so far that way, with Granderson having a tough time even before he went on the disabled list, hitting just .225 with just the 2 home runs with the Yankees to start his Yankee career. So 4 games with the Yankees. Dontrell Willis goes tonight. Mitre goes for the Yankees. The back end, you got the Phil Hughes, CC Sabathia thing against Bonderman and Verlander. All right, that should be interesting to watch on Wednesday and Thursday. Dallas Braden's perfecto, the Oakland A's. I got some comments on that. Whether or not Braden was even good enough to throw a perfect game. I mean, obviously he was because he threw one. But he's what a whackmeister that guy is. And I kind of said some things I didn't think he was that, he's the kind of guy, with all the Koufaxes throwing perfect games, or Randy Johnson and Cy Young threw one, that this guy was way down the list. Then I saw the story about his grandma. I thought, you know what? I feel bad. I felt like a schmuck. Because it's a really cute story with the grandmother who raised him after the mother passed away. And I feel kind of bad, Dallas Braden, but not that bad because I still don't think you're good enough to throw a perfect game. But you did it. 27 up, 27 down. The Rays have now been perfecto twice in the last 10 months. Mark Burley did it, and now Dallas Braden against Tampa. Way to go, Carlos Pena and Gabe Kapler, former Tigers. Wings and Pistons both out before May 10th. Doesn't happen often. If you want to read, I'll tell you when the last time that happened was, because it seems like at least one of them is playing into June, but not this year for the first time in a bit of time. Bill Laimbeer interviews in Philadelphia. That just sounds strange for the head coaching position vacated by Eddie Jordan's firing. Doug Collins and Avery Johnson have also already interviewed in Philadelphia. Collins, a former Sixer. That might be a gig he would take, and it might be his job to lose, even though Avery Johnson needs to be back in the NBA. But Bill Laimbeer was interviewed by the Sixers. Just seems weird that the bad boy, baddest of the bad boys, all those confrontations with Chuck Barkley, and even Rick Mahorn when he was still in Philadelphia before he came to Detroit. Remember that? Didn't they have a little brawl thing, him and Laimbeer there? Remember that? On the sideline, they kind of went at each other? Just seemed weird that Laimbeer would then coach the Sixers. Almost as weird as when Isaiah coached the Knicks, but at least it's not the Celtics. And Betty White on Saturday Night Live, give it up to 88-year-old Betty White. Let me tell you something. That was the best SNL since the Belushi, Chevy Chase, Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, Jane Curtin years. Bill Murray, all those guys. So that's all I'm saying. Hold on, I just hit something. There you go. I think the Betty White thing was outstanding. She was she was in like every skit, and everything was sexually oriented. 88. God bless her. So check that out too. If you haven't seen it, the SNL from Saturday with Betty White, you must see. It's must-see TV, NBC. So there you go. Check it all out. The Wings wrap up for the 2009-2010 season, and a look forward as to the era here and whether it's over or not, when it began. It's heavy reading. Tigers with the Yankees tonight. Dallas Braden's perfecto against Tampa. Bill Laimbeer interviewing in Philadelphia, and the Betty White thing in Saturday Night Live. It's all there for you on the Parker and the Man page at yournews.com.